Other than the fact that her name is a pun, I have literally nothing to say about Baabra. This is a problem with many sheep villagers, as you'll soon see. I honestly really like the blue coloration of Bam, and he's a standout amongst the species, which I really like. Bangle absolutely looks like the kind of friend who would help you in any situation. Not sure why they decided on yellow on brown, it doesn't really fit for me. Oh god. And then we've got Barreled. I think it goes without saying that Barreled is definitely the least appealing villager out of the bunch. He just straight up looks like he's got kids trapped in his basement.
Have you ever stolen anyone's children? Huh? Have you? I mean, you look like you would.
I have literally nothing to say about B. For or against, she is that boring of a villager. Look, I want to like Beardo, but I can't really do that when his chest hair looks like hair. Bo has a clueless look that I actually really enjoy. I like his orange coloration too, and his horns. Becky really has nothing going for her. I mean, sure, she's a princess, but that doesn't make her interesting. If anything, she's gonna be a monarch that's forgotten by everyone, even historians. Like Astrid before her, I really don't get the hate behind Bella. Like, sure, she looks a little weird, but I like the punk rock aesthetic she's going for, similar to Astrid. Like I said, Ace reminds me of a teenage footballer. Benedict reminds me of a very young footballer. Like a kid who wants to be a footballer when he grows up. He also rocks the phrase, less is more, like Ace. There's something about Benjamin that feels very off. Like, something about him just isn't right, but I can't really pinpoint it to where. Maybe it's the big bushy brows? Maybe it's the piercing orange eyes. Despite the hippos not being my favorite species in general, Bertha does a great job at justifying their existence. That overall shade of blue, plus those eyes, makes for a pretty standout villager among a sea of garbage. Bettina exists. I love the snow leopard motif that Bianca is going for. It helps her stand out amongst the tigers. I would say I like Biff, but his big bushy eyebrows are just not doing it for me, I'm sorry. Not a big fan of the clay brown either. Big Top gives me vibes of the superhero who's not as good at saving the day, but has a big heart nonetheless, so you can't help but love him. There's something about Bill's simplistic design that just works for him. He just looks like the kind of guy who you would want to play basketball with. Billy doesn't really have anything going on about him, but he's okay nonetheless. There's something about Biscuit that scares me. It's probably the soulless eyes, but he looks like the kind of person who you should never trust with anything. Biddy is just a worse version of Bertha. I especially don't like her hair or the eyeshadow she has. Blair is very underrated when compared to other squirrels. There's something about that simple smile that brings so much charm to her. You know, I never understood why these classes of animals are called ostriches. Their models have just been used for miscellaneous long-necked birds. Blanche, for example, is based on a crane, and I think that's pretty neat. I really like Blue Bear. Such a cute design mixed with a tinge of blueberries. I think it's safe to say that Bob is probably the design inspiration for Jax from the Amazing Digital Circus. There's such an iconicity about Bob that it's impossible to hate him. I don't like Bonbon for the similar problems I have with Bangle. Yellow on brown is weird, I'm sorry guys. Bones is a less boring version of B. He seems like the kind of dog who would actually be a good boy. Okay, Boomer, I get you've got a whole pilot motif, but you don't have to go after Apollo style. I like the whole baboon motif going on with Boone, but I think it could have worked better on a monkey. Boots looks so silly. There's such a charm about him that it's hard to hate him. Boris just looks like the pig version of Ganondorf, which is weird to say because I'm pretty sure in one of the older Animal Crossing games, there was a Ganondorf pig. Ugh, Boyd. He's probably even worse than Al. Boyd looks way more like a school bully than Al does. And that's saying something. Bree and Broccolo are just kinda there. But Bree probably looks worse than Broccolo, all because of her green hair. Broccolo's not any better though. I really don't like his small eyes, or the way his hair is structured. Rowena is definitely one of the better chickens I've seen thus far, sporting that whole phoenix motif. Bruce gives me vibes of that mean school teacher that tries to be cool but just fails at every turn. He still has a pretty cool design though. Bubbles just looks like a dork. Everything about the design is wrong. I don't like how Buck is looking at me. He just looks like he's permanently angry at me. Honestly, Bud seems like the uncle that you would love to hang out with. Never mind the weird lion model. He just looks cool. Bunny, despite her generic name, is actually really cute. It helps her stand out amongst the other bunnies. I love Butch, to be honest. I especially like his coloring. Gives him vibes of the doggo who's always got your back. Buzz gives me vibes of the gym teacher who makes you work hard just to see you succeed in life. He's the kind of dude who wants you to work hard so you can have a good future and a good life. And I give him props for that.